I'm gonna double tap on blockchain one more time because I have a few notes. The analogy that I put together is that it's like a shared Google Doc everyone can see, but no one can edit without permission.
I like it. That's a good one. So here's how I explain it to people. So start with the name. It's a chain of blocks. In those blocks are information, and it's a ledger that was mentioned digitized. So right now, the financial system is run off ledgers, right? So perfect example. Anybody in here knows a certain age of folks in here used to have a checkbook, right? And your checkbook is basically you would have a ledger of all of your transactions and everything that went in there, right? Went to Piggly Wiggly's, right? And you rip out the check and you have a ledger at the end. That's basically what they gave you at the end. Banks do the same thing, right? So it's a chain of blocks, but in those blocks are all of this information. Tyrone went to Birmingham on Tuesday. He left on Friday. He was at the Starbucks. He's done all this. And once that's done, that block is closed, right? So Monday's block is closed of Tyrone's travel. Tuesday's block has everywhere he went, everything he did. Now, those chains are blocked together, right? And it's open so everyone can see it, right? So everyone will go, okay, well, we saw Tyrone in Birmingham on Thursday, right? And everyone goes, yep, we saw him. He was there. Mint the block, right? Boom. We saw Tyrone leave the hotel on Friday to go to the airport. Everyone agrees, right? We agree? Okay, mint the block. So now you have a chain of blocks that have what they call immutable information. Again, it's just essentially information that can't be changed. If everyone agreed, which is consensus, if everyone agreed he was here on Thursday, you saw him on stage, it's stamped. We can't remove that. Why is that really cool, and why should everyone in this audience care? Because there's going to be a lot of use cases where if something happens, whether it's around, I remember when my grandmother passed, she had a rusty pistol somewhere that everybody was fighting about that they wanted, right? But let's just say I have an estate plan, and I want my nephews to get half of my company. I can put that on the blockchain, I can stamp it, and it's there. So the family can argue all they want, right? And I could put in there specifically when I want them to get it. So that's essentially what that is. So this blockchain that has a consensus of a bunch of people, nodes, computers that are running these nodes that are basically saying, hey, we're all going to agree that this is happening. And this is whether you're in Africa, Asia, doesn't matter. We all agree. Cool, stamp it. So, and here's the cool thing about a blockchain, right? Very similar to, again, go on any app, you got a ledger of all your transactions. That's all it is. But what's cool about it is you cannot mint the next block, right? The next block cannot be created unless there's agreement of what was in the one before, right? So once there's agreement on the one before, everyone looks back, okay, great, mint it. So that's essentially what's happening online with a lot of the complicated things that are going on. But why everyone in this audience should care is, again, for this reason. Do you think about, well, actually, let me put it this way. Have you sent money to someone or gotten paid and then you say, okay, well, I sent you this money, you ain't get it yet, right? Because it takes a lot of time for the bank to settle those transactions and do all those other things, right? So, which is why when he sent me that money and I got it instantly, I was like, wait a minute, right? So what we're all passionate about is the fact that the technology says, okay, real-time payments, right? The United States of America did not have a real-time payment system until 2024. Japan has had it since the 70s. It's called FedNow, right? And FedNow first came to the floor to be introduced in 2019. We didn't get it 2024. And it's not being used by banks. Why? Because of Zelle, because of Cash App, because of Venmo, because of all these different things. Now, I personally can't be convinced by anybody on God's green earth that Bitcoin being created in 2008, essentially being launched in 2009, had nothing to do with that. That they were forced to say, wait a minute, people are moving money in real time anywhere in the world, right? So you can send billions and trillions of dollars on the Bitcoin blockchain for pennies, like dollars. Again, banks don't like that. So again, bringing it back to a blockchain and why you should care about that is what this technology is going to do is going to make it easy for you to send money or value, any type of value, anywhere in the world in real time and not have to wait for a bank to clear it. $15 for a wire, $15 to receive a wire, right? It's gonna cut out all of those fees. Decentralized finance is one of those things. So just think of it as a rail, right? A train rail or whatever it is. It's just a chain of blocks with information that is digital, that is going to allow you to move value across the world faster and in real time.